If you own a service business, you know that feeling. The quiet phone. It's probably one of the most stressful things you can deal with. You know you do great work, but for some reason, the calls just aren't coming in the way they should. Well, a lot of the time, the reason isn't your service. It's something much smaller, something happening online that you might not even be aware of.
It's a really frustrating question, isn't it? You've got your online profile set up, you're open for business, but it feels like you're invisible. The problem is often hidden in plain sight, buried in little details you probably set up once and then completely forgot about.
And this number right here, 62%, this is at the very heart of the problem. I know it looks abstract, but it represents a very real and very costly issue for local businesses just like yours. So what does it actually mean?
What this means is that nearly 2/3 of your potential customers will just give up and call a competitor if they find something wrong online, like a wrong phone number, an old address, or incorrect business hours. We're not just talking about data here. We're talking about real people, real phone calls, and real jobs that are slipping through your fingers because of simple, fixable mistakes.
So in this explainer, we're going to break it all down. We'll talk about what your listings really are, then we'll dive into the 5 most common mistakes, how they can spread like wildfire across the web, and finally, what the path forward looks like to get it all sorted out.
Okay, let's start with a really simple but powerful way to think about this. Don't think of your online listings as some technical chore. Instead, think of them as your digital front door. For most of your customers, it's the very first impression they're ever going to have of your business. Now, the technical term for these is business listings or sometimes citations. It's really just any place online where your key business information, your name, address, and phone number, what we call NAP, shows up. This could be on Google Maps, Yelp, Facebook, you name it, there are dozens of them. And here's the thing, these listings have 2 really important jobs. First, for customers, seeing consistent info everywhere builds confidence that you're a legit professional business. And second, for search engines like Google, they are a huge trust signal. The more consistent your info is across the web, the more Google trusts you, and the more likely it is to show you to potential customers. All right, now that we know what listings are and why they matter so much, let's get into the real meat of the issue. Let's look at the 5 main culprits. These common, seemingly tiny errors that are quietly hurting your ability to get found and, more importantly, get those phone calls. So, the first and biggest culprit is inconsistent information. Take a look at this. To you and me, the difference between ST and street is nothing, right? And one has a suite number, the other doesn't. We know it's the same place. But to a search engine algorithm, whoa, this is a massive red flag. And this gets right to the core of the problem. When Google's algorithm sees these tiny little differences, it doesn't know which one to trust. So it can actually treat them like 2 separate, less reliable businesses. What happens then? It splits your authority, it pushes you down in the search results, and it just makes it that much harder for customers to find you. Culprit number 2 is having incomplete or outdated information. You can almost think of your listing like a report card. You might have the name and address right, but if critical details like your business hours or photos are missing, well, those aren't just nice-to-haves. They're absolutely essential for turning a person who's just looking into someone who actually calls you. The impact here is just huge. Just look at this. Listings with photos get 42% more requests for directions. That's a massive difference. And just think about it from a customer's point of view. If they drive all the way to your business because your listing said you were open, but they find the doors are locked, they're not just a little annoyed. You've probably lost that customer for good.
Okay, let's talk about culprit number 3, duplicate listings. This happens all the time and usually by accident. Maybe an old listing was created before a name change or from a simple typo years ago. The result is your online reputation gets fractured. Some customers leave reviews on one profile, some on another. It just confuses everyone, especially the search engines, and it seriously waters down your ranking power.
Now, our 4th culprit is one that so many businesses overlook: ignoring customer reviews. Your reviews are one of the most powerful trust signals you have online. When a potential customer sees you responding to feedback, both the good and the bad, it sends a clear message that you're an active, engaged business that actually cares. On the flip side, an ignored review just makes you look like you're not paying attention. And the final culprit is simple neglect. It's the mindset that managing your listings is a one-and-done task. You set it up once and just forget about it. But it just doesn't work that way. Your hours might change for a holiday. You might move locations, or sometimes other users can even suggest edits to your listings that are flat out wrong. They really do need ongoing attention.
So you might be thinking, okay, I get it, but why is this so hard to manage? I fixed my listing on Google. Shouldn't that be enough? Well, this next point explains why it's so tricky. One little error doesn't just stay in one place. It actually creates a ripple effect across the entire internet.
Here's how it works. A single listing has one tiny mistake, let's say an old phone number. That bad info gets picked up by things called data aggregators. You can think of them like giant online phone books that automatically share information with hundreds of other websites and apps. Before you know it, that one little mistake has been copied and pasted all over the web, silently multiplying and undoing all your hard work.
Okay, so that's the problem. It's complicated, it spreads, and it is absolutely costing you business. But the good news is, the path forward is actually pretty straightforward. It's not about learning some new, complex technology. At its core, the solution comes down to one simple word: consistency.
So, what are the key things to remember from all this? First, consistency builds trust with both your potential customers and with search engines. Second, accuracy is what turns a person searching online into an actual phone call and a booked job. And finally, managing your listings is not a one-time project. It's an ongoing process, just like any other essential part of running your business.
And that really leaves us with one last, critical question to think about. When you picture your own online presence right now, is your digital front door clean, accurate, and welcoming? Or are those small, forgotten errors quietly sending your best customers straight to your competition?
For more practical insights just like these, make sure you subscribe. And if you're looking for expert help to get this all sorted out so you can just focus on running your business, Proper Marketers is a fantastic resource for local SEO and for getting more jobs on your calendar.